Welcome everyone. This is a gentle flow for pelvic tension or pelvic pain. So if you're dealing with either one of those, this is a great practice, but it's also a really wonderful practice for anyone who's just looking for something a little bit more relaxed and looking to relax some of the muscles, or not just in the pelvis, but around the hips and the low back. So today we're going to be using lots of props. Don't get discouraged if you don't have these props at home. Perhaps find something around the house that works for you, or don't use them at all. But we're going to be using at least 2 blankets today. If you have a yoga bolster, great. If not, a rolled up towel or a yoga mat works wonderful. We're also going to be using sandbags to start off today. So if you have them, great. These are about 8 to 10 pounds each. If you have something weighted at home that you can use, awesome. Otherwise, I'll show you just a way to use a blanket. And if you have a yoga strap, get one. And yoga blocks. At least one will be ideal for today. Okay, so again, very prop heavy, but just use whatever you have at home, or move with me anyway, and I think you'll find it really helpful to relax the muscles of the pelvic floor and surrounding the pelvis. So we're gonna get started using a bolster under our knees for support. And then this is where we're going to start with using the weights. So again, if you have sandbag weights or anything you can use at home, you're gonna drape the weight over the thigh bone, your femur. And if you have 2, 1 for each. And if you just have 1, you can place it just over your pelvis. And then you're gonna lie back. Okay. Make sure it's comfortable, so take the time to really set it up. Right. What you want to feel with the weight is compression down, so the femur bones get pressed down, which helps to open up the front of the pelvis. And then we're going to place a blanket on top. So again, even if you don't have the weights, this is going to feel really nice. Okay, and then you can rest your arms by your side, or bring your hands to your belly, and go ahead and close the eyes. And just settle in here. Take a few moments to just feel into your body. Feel into your breath. Allow your body to become heavy. Let the ground beneath you accept your weight. And then as you breathe in, send your breath down your spine and let your belly rise and your hands move slightly apart as you breathe in. And then exhale, soften, and let everything go. Again, inhale, feel your belly rise. Allow your pelvic floor to drop, to open. And stay open and stay relaxed as you exhale. And for the next 5 or so breaths, allow that thoughtfulness, that focus to be directed at your breath. Feeling the natural ebb and flow, the filling and the releasing. And each inhale, each exhale, allow your entire pelvis to completely relax. Take another cycle of breath. And with your next exhale, float your eyes gently open. And take in the space, take in the light. And very gently move your blanket to the side. If you have weights, very gently take them off and again move those to the side. And then bending into one knee, bending into the other. And you can hug one knee into the chest. Perhaps a few ankle circles. And then do the other side, knee to chest. Again, perhaps a few ankle circles. And then both knees to chest. Maybe a few hip circles here, moving in one direction. And as you move your hips, just notice how they feel, without judgment, without expectation. And switch directions. And then find stillness, drop your feet, remove your bolster, move it to the side. We're gonna stay on our backs for this first part of the class today. So we're gonna start with half happy baby. So I'll have you extend your left leg straight down the mat and then hug your right knee in and then bring it to the side. So we're going wide here with the knee. And then we're going to bring the sole of the foot towards the ceiling and grab a hold of the outer foot as we bring the shin perpendicular to the floor. All right, so half happy baby, just like a lunge pose here, which we'll look at later. So I'm drawing my leg down, bringing my knee towards my outer armpit. My opposite leg is reaching down the mat. And everything is comfortable, so I'm not moving into pain. We want to make sure that as we move through these today, that we're also signaling to our nervous system that we're safe. Okay, and that is how we make these sustainable changes and teach our body it's okay to relax. So make sure not to push it. Take a couple more breaths here. Again, feel your pelvic floor drop. Perhaps breathe into the right sitting bone. And then we're going to release that. And then straighten the right leg. Pull the left leg into the chest and then to the side. My right leg now is extending down the mat. And just see how that feels for our first few moments here. And then if it's comfortable, you can bring that foot perpendicular. Okay, that shin perpendicular, excuse me. And draw the foot down. So you can really stay at any of these levels, right? You can stay here if that's comfortable, or you can reach for the foot. If you are reaching for that foot, remember to pull that shoulder back so we're not getting pulled forward towards the ceiling. We're really keeping that collarbone broad. And remember to find that place of comfortable stretch. And then breathing into the left sitting bone wherever you are. Feel that pelvic floor drop. Take one more breath. And then gently release and extend. Wiggle out the legs and then bend both knees and grab for your strap. And then place the strap around the ball of your right foot and make sure that it is on the ball of your foot versus your arch. Bring the strap together and walk your hands up the strap. Draw the leg in. So we're going for a simple hamstring stretch here. Okay? Again, my shoulders are pulled back, my jaw and my face are relaxed. And you can stay here with that left knee bent or feel free to straighten that leg, right? So find whatever feels comfortable for you. And then breathe here. Take one more breath. And then release. Let that leg come all the way down. And then bend into the right leg. Bring the left knee up. Place the strap around the ball of the left foot. Okay, toes point down towards your body, bring the strap together. Walk your hands up the strap and draw that left leg in until you feel a nice stretch in the back of your leg. A small bend in the knee is totally fine here. You're definitely still going to get a stretch wherever you are. Breathe there. Soften the shoulders. Relax the face. Perhaps straighten into the right leg or keep it bent. Just notice how it feels. Notice where you feel the stretch. And notice where you might bring some softening into your body. One more inhale. And then exhale, release, straighten that leg. Okay, bend both knees. Now go ahead and straighten and reach that right leg up towards the ceiling. Flex into the foot, and then bend the knee and come into a figure 4 stretch. Okay, and here there are, again, many ways to feel into this stretch as we get into the hip. You can stay right here. You can take your right hand and gently press your right knee away. You can also lift your left leg up and wrap your hands around your thigh. Right? There's many different ways to feel this stretch. Find what works for you and then hold it there. Again, making sure that it's comfortable. You can breathe fully and just notice where you're feeling this stretch in your hip. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, release. If you have the leg lifted, drop it. Straighten the right leg up towards the ceiling. And then let it all the way down the mat. And then rebend it, other side. Lift the left leg up. Bend into the left knee. Flexed foot. Bring that left ankle to the outside, or the right thigh rather. And then again, stay here, press the leg away. Or you can lift that right leg up, bring your hands behind your thigh, and hold here. And if you have any knee issues at all here, try flexing the foot, in this case the left foot, and imagine like you're gonna bring your pinky side foot up the lateral aspect of your shin. But wherever you are, we're seeking sensation. We're looking for a gentle stretch here. On a scale of 0 to 10, nothing more than a 6 or a 7. Keep your breath steady. And breathe in. And breathe out. One more cycle, breathe in. And then exhale, release. Let the leg drop if you have it. Straighten to the left leg and then extend it all the way down. And then bend both knees. And then just a few moments here to move your pelvis in any way that feels good. So you can do some pelvic tilts. You can do some pelvic circles. Do make sure if you're doing those circles, try both directions. Just exploring how your low back is feeling today, what you might need. Good. And then draw one knee and then the other into your chest. Give yourself a little squeeze, maybe rock from side to side. And then we're going to come all the way over to our side and onto our hands and knees. And you can move that blanket out of the way. Okay, so from hands and knees, let's move through a few rounds of cat-cow. So we're going to inhale and lift the tailbone and lift the gaze. And then we're going to exhale to round the spine. And as you inhale and lift up into your cow pose, see if you can feel your tailbone lift, if you can feel your sits bone spread. And then as you exhale, consider just making space in your mid-back as you draw your ribs in. One more time, inhale, lift the tailbone, open pelvic floor, open chest. And then exhale, round the spine. And then come back to neutral, and we're gonna do some tail wags. So we're gonna be wagging our tail from one direction, one side to the other. And you can make these small, you can make these big, but I just want you to feel your hips move fluidly here. Open the pelvic floor. And we want to make sure we're doing this with more of a lift in the tailbone. We're not tucking our tail, okay? So we're lifting that tailbone and we're moving the hips from one side to the other. And just like we did on our backs with our pelvic tilts and our circles, see if you can make some pelvic circles here. And like before, go in both directions. Just loosening up the pelvis, loosening up the lower back. Good, and then find center, find stillness, take the knees wide, and we are going to lift the tailbone up and gently sit the hips back towards our child's pose. This is an excellent place to use a block or two. You could also take a blanket between your thighs. You can have the arms extended like this or have the arms by your side, but make your way all the way down and let your forehead drop onto something. So it's supported by a block or it's supported by the ground beneath you. And just breathe here. And your challenge here is to really give yourself permission, or see if you can completely relax your belly. Like, let it all go. We spend so much of our day, especially as women, tensing our belly, drawing it in, squeezing in. You have permission here to let it completely go. So as you breathe in, let your belly fill up like a balloon, press down to the floor. One more time, nice breath in, let your belly soften. Drop your pelvic floor and relax. Okay, gently coming up. Okay, we're going to bring the knees back together and we're going to come into a lunge position. This is where it can feel really nice to use blocks. So if this is the top of my mat, I'm going to place my blocks there and I'm going to step forward with my right leg. Okay, so we're coming into a lunge. So press your hips forward, but make sure you're not like sinking into this to your deepest stretch. We don't want to do that. So we want to back off a little bit. So just feeling a nice, comfortable stretch, but we're still maintaining some integrity in our joints. Okay, take an inhale and reach your arms up. And then exhale, bring your hands down to the blocks on either side of your foot at any level that feels comfortable for you. Okay, and just hold this lunge position here. Chest is open, heart reaching forward. And you can stay here in this static lunge position, so we're stretching into our hips. Or if you'd like, you can even try some circles here. Just like all of the circular actions we've done today, try both directions. So it's just a different way to begin to open up the hips, open up the pelvic floor, and take note or take stock of how your hips are feeling and where you're noticing some of that tension or tightness. And then again, find some stillness, find your steady lunge position. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale, slowly coming out of it. Finding a lunge position or a hero position for just a moment. Place one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. Allow your heart to soften. Allow your belly to soften, and take a deep breath in. Fill up your belly, fill up your heart, and then exhale. And then come into side 2. So take your left leg forward. And then we're going to come into our lunge position. Again, not our deepest possible lunge. We're backing off a little bit here. We're going to inhale, sweep those arms skyward. And then exhale, let the arms fall to your blocks on either side of your foot at any level. And then come into the depth of a lunge that feels comfortable for you. Chest reaching forward, deep breath in. Full breath out. And again, you can stay here, feel free to stay here, or begin to make those gentle circles. Just experimenting really with your hips, with your pelvis, and then switch directions. Not a movement that many of us are used to, so it's nice to challenge the body with different motions. Movement nutrients, if you will. And then find some stillness again in your lunge, chest up, breathe in. And then exhale, coming out of it. Again, coming into your hero pose for just a moment, checking in. And then we'll make our way into very common yoga pose, downward facing dog. So I'm going to show you how to do downward dog today with a little bit more of a lift and opening of the pelvic floor. So what we're going to do is start from hands and knees. Okay, and from hands and knees, walk your hands just a couple of inches more forward than usual. Spread your fingertips nice and wide, and think of pressing your palms down into the mat. Okay, so we're activating some of the muscles in our wrist. We're going to then tuck our toes, and you're going to lift your tailbone up. And the trick is to lift your tailbone up without arching your spine completely, okay? So keep your front ribs in, press your palms down, lift your tail up, and keep lifting your tail up as you reach your hips up and back. Now you might need to keep those knees bent, because if you are tight in the backs of your legs and you straighten your legs, you might round your back. So we really want to be thinking about an open spine here, flat spine. Okay, so if I have to keep my knees bent to do that, I will. I really want to get my tailbone up and back and get my sits bones up and back. So I'm reaching my tail, reaching my hips back, breathing here. As I inhale, open up the pelvis, right? Open up the hips. And then exhale, release down. All right, and then come back up. Okay, and then we're going to come to standing. Okay, this is another area where you may want some blocks. I'm going to show you this from the side, but if you're on a mat, find a wide open stance like this. I'm going to show you from this position so you can see. So I'm taking my feet nice and wide. I might have the toes turned in a little bit. See how that feels to you. Hands come to pelvis. Inhale, lift your chest up, heart up, and then come forward and lift your tailbone up, right? And if you get to a point where you feel tension in the backs of your legs and you have to start to round your spine, then bend your knees, okay? If you can keep the legs straight, great. Come down with a flat spine and then bring your hands under your sternum on top of a block. Some of you might come lower, or some of you might need a little bit more of a lift like this. Wherever you are, feel into this stretch. So for most of us, we're going to be feeling this in the backs of our legs. If you're feeling it very specifically behind the knees, I do want you to bring a subtle bend there. Right? Chest is reaching forward, spine is long. We're opening up the pelvis here. So you should feel with this lift of your tailbone that your sits bones are spreading to the sides or right to left. So as we inhale, we're going to think about sending that breath down, sweeping under that tailbone and opening up the back of the pelvis and the pelvic floor. Wherever you are, take one more breath. And then as you exhale, gently bend your knees, bring your hands to your hips, and with strong legs, come all the way up. and then step together. Okay, and then we're gonna make our way down, and we're going to come back into our child's pose. So again, we take the knees wide, we walk the hands forward, drop the head to the ground, or again, if you want to use your yoga block, that can be a really nice alternative. Okay, you can also bring your arms by your side. Again, just begin to relax, settle. Give yourself permission to relax. Take one more breath. And then slowly come up. And we'll make our way into our final resting pose. So for this resting pose, I'm going to bring my bolster back. I want support for my head. And then you could also use your weights or just a blanket. Make your way down. Okay, any position that feels good. Arms can be by your side again here, or if you like the hands over your belly, it's your practice, so find what feels good. Allow your jaw to soften, your legs to soften. And we return to the ground, we return to the earth. Let your body settle. Let your body feel completely supported. And let your breath return to its natural rhythm. No thinking, no forcing, just being. And take the next few moments to just enjoy that gentle energy, that softening, or that rest. Take a big inhale and full exhale. Make some subtle movements with your fingers and your toes, your arms and your legs. You can hug one knee in and then the other. And then gently come onto your side. And gently come up to a seat. And in your seat, just take a moment here. Perhaps rest the palms on your thighs face up. And perhaps rest one hand and then the other on your heart. And perhaps rest one hand on your belly or both hands on your belly. Take just another moment here to send some love through your hands back into your body, wherever you need it. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, wherever you are.
Thanks so much for watching that video. Please hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more of those videos and keep learning on how to read your body. Have a great day.